Today has been a hell of a news day, starting with the Russian ambassador to Turkey who was assassinated live uh, in front of cameras, in front of the photographer. I mean, it was captured, one completely captured on film. I'm going to play the clip for you. It's all things considered, it's you do see someone dying, so it is extremely graphic in that sense, but it's not graphic in the sense that you see a lot of blood or anything. Amazingly, you really don't see any blood, which I know is going to end up being fodder for all of the conspiracy theorists. They're gonna say that it didn't really happen because they can't see the blood. However, Russia has confirmed that the ambassador has been killed. Vladimir Putin came out and spoke about it. Had a lot to say about it, actually. And so the assassination was at the hands, and you can see actually in this image. Let's see if I can. Yeah, you can barely see him on this screen. Actually, I'm going to put the image on the main screen so that you can see the gentleman in the background behind on the left-hand side. His name is Melvot Mert Ayadantis. He's a 22-year-old young kid who was a member of the Ankara police, riot police. Ankara, of course, is in Turkey, and the ambassador from Russia was the ambassador for Turkey. He was at a art gallery speaking on, quote, how Russia as seen by the Turks. This was the exhibition that he was speaking in front of. The gunman was later killed after a 15-minute shootout. This comes on the heels of a day of protest in Turkey over Russian support for Syria, for the Syrian president Bashar al-Assad. President Erdogan of Turkey spoke directly with Vladimir Putin by phone. And in a video message, they both agreed that this was an act of provocation in hopes of undermining any type of bilateral agreement in Aleppo, Syria in general. In his remarks, Putin said that this is, quote, undoubtedly a provocation aimed at disrupting the normalization of bilateral ties and the peace process in Syria. Earlier in the day, the foreign and defense ministers of Russia, Iran, and Turkey announced that they will be meeting to discuss the future of Syria, and that meeting will be to understand the views of all the sides involved. So clearly, Turkey and Russia are at odds in Syria. Turkey has their own specific set of, let's call them rebels, that they support. And of course, Russia supports the Assad regime. The reason the conversation about Syria is important here in the assassination of the Russian ambassador is because of what the young man said during the assassination. So this is about 52 seconds long. I want to play the entire thing. Then we'll look at some photographs because it is, again, it's graphic in the sense that you will see someone die. But we have as a society become highly desensitized to the things we see. So that's why I don't feel too bad about playing this clip. But I want you to see, and I want you to listen to the young man, the assassin, and listen to what he says. Let's see if I can get this to play right. All right. And unfortunately, I don't have subtitles for you, but you could hear some clear parts where he's saying Allah Akbar, and some translations had him saying that this was because specifically he mentioned Aleppo, and this was because of Aleppo, and don't forget Aleppo, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of questions in terms of um, their protocol and how this particular riot police member of the riot police was able to get in such close proximity and basically get this detailed assignment, right? How he got this assignment. The It's been a crazy day because this was just one of several attacks that happened today. Of course, when anything like this happens, the first thing that comes to mind to most people, or at least to the people who've been commenting on it, is the manner in which World War I was started. As documented in the book. I don't know if you guys have ever read Guns of August. But a lot of people have been making commentary about how the Archduke who was killed in 1914 was a prelude to World War I, and then they're comparing this, obviously, as a prelude to World War III. It is telling and commendable, I guess, would be. So, yeah, I'm going to use the word commendable. It's commendable to see world leaders actually lead instead of being reactionary. And what I mean by that is if you watch the press conference from Vladimir Putin, at least publicly, right? I have no idea what he's doing privately. I mean, he could be lining up the troops privately. I doubt it. But publicly, Vladimir Putin was measured, he was calm, and he identified it as what most people identified it to be, a provocation to try to subvert any type of peace treaty to come out of Syria, particularly and specifically the relationship between Turkey and Russia. This is not the first time that Vladimir Putin has been level-headed with regard to Turkey. You remember last year, Turkey shot down a fighter jet from Russia. And what does Vladimir Putin do? Does he retaliate? No, he doesn't retaliate, probably because Turkey is a member of NATO, and that would activate Article 5, and America would be pulled into a hot conflict with Russia. So Vladimir Putin was measured then. He's measured now. Erdogan seems to be measured with this. That, you know, you can only evaluate these people on their most recent activity, right? Right. So you know, telling how any of them will act tomorrow. But as far as this is concerned, it is refreshing to see world leaders who are not reactionary and who aren't petulant children in their handling of things that could quickly escalate into a larger conflict. Another example of a measured response would be President Obama's response on Friday with regard to Russia and the Russian hacks. It was very telling that people did not want Obama to respond as calmly and as measured as he was. But keep in mind, these are people who have an entire militaries at their disposal, militaries that could destroy the world 10, 20, 30 times over. I think we want as much measured response as we possibly can get for as long as we can get, because we have a man-child who is coming into the White House who is going to be anything but measured. And perhaps the office of the presidency will whip his ass into shape, like it seems to whip every president into shape. But this is the news out of Turkey today, and Putin's response has been extremely measured. So we'll keep an eye and see how this develops as we go along.